Okay, so the discriminant actually comes from the quadratic equation, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And I've seen you working on your equation, so you know what these a, b, and c things are. It's once you set your polynomial equation equal to 0, you're going to have an a number, which is the coefficient for your squared term, a b number, which is the coefficient for your single variable term here, and your c, which would be your constant. In this situation, we don't have one, so c is 0. Now, the discriminant is only this portion here under the square root symbol, this b squared minus 4ac. And the reason it's important is because depending on what happens here, it depends on how many possible solutions we have for x to be equal to in our equation, okay? So if we solve b squared minus 4ac with our numbers from our equation, and we get a number that is less than 0, then we'll have a negative number under the square root sign. So there'll be no real solutions because we can't take the square root of a negative number and get a real solution. There are other types of solutions, but no real solutions. Now, if it's equal to 0, then it would be the square root of 0, which would be 0, and then all this would just wind up being one solution because that would be plus or minus 0. And when you plus 0 or you minus 0, you get the exact same thing. Now, if it's greater than 0, you're going to wind up with two real solutions because you're going to have a plus that number and you're going to have a minus that number. And you're going to wind up with two real solutions. So when we plug in your numbers from your equation into the discriminant, we get b squared is 2 squared minus 4 times a, which was 1, and times c, which was 0. So we wind up with 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 0 is 0. So 4 minus 0 is 4. Now here, we have to remember that this solution would be plus or minus the square root of 4 if it was a part of the quadratic equation. So we would wind up having, what is the square root of 4? Well, it's 2. So we would wind up with a positive 2 and a negative 2. And we would have to work out this whole equation twice. Once being negative, what was our b? 2. We would have to do a negative 2 plus 2 divided by 2 times 1, which was our a. And then we would also have to work it out for a second solution, negative 2, which was our b. Negative 2 minus 2 all over 2 times 1. So we would actually get two real solutions.